Hello students, welcome to Biosastra Talks. So we'll move on to the next question, the third question from the Neet 2023 biology paper here. In this question, they have given about the pollination, the types of pollination, and they have asked the question. What was the question? The large, colorful, fragrant, high nectar flowers show means the plant which are having large, colorful, fragrant and high nectar flowers will show which type of pollination they are asking. Here they have given the options: insect pollination, bird pollination, bat pollination and wind pollination. They have given the four options here. In that we have to say in which type of this pollination we can see these type of flowers. Okay, first of all we'll move into the options here. Okay, we'll know. First of all, we should know what are these. No, so in this you can see the first one, insect pollination. Insect pollination means the pollination which takes place with the help of honey bees or beetles, etc. Okay, in this normally the plants which are having the large flowers means why? Because the insects are very small, they are attracted to very large and colorful flowers which are having different colors of petals and sepals, so that they can be very attractive. Okay, and the plants will have the large flowers, and the insects, what will the honeybees will do? They'll collect the nectar and they'll store it in the honey, right? The honeycomb, right? So they need more nectar, so normally the honeybees or beetles will fall on the flowers which are having the more nectar. Okay, high amount of nectar, and the flowers will also should give good smell, means to attract the insects. If you want to attract anyone, like normally what we'll do, what our nose will do, the nose will smell the good smell, right? So that will move towards the good smell, not bad smell, like that only. The honeybees also needed the good smell, means so that with the smell they'll be attracted towards that flowers and they pollinate, they fall on the flowers. Normally what the bees will do, they'll fall on the flowers and they collect the pollen with the help of their feet, and then move on to the next flower of the same plant or the other plant. Like that the pollen will be collected from the flower when they are collecting the nectar, and it is carried to the another plant. Normally cross pollination will only take place. So in this cross pollination they will fall on the next flower or the flower of the another plant. Like that they'll carry the pollen from one flower to another flower or one plant to another plant. So like this the insect pollination will take place. Normally the insect pollination is also known as entomophily. Okay, and examples of this, the examples in which the insect pollination will take place is sunflower plants. Why? Because you can see that sunflowers are very large, dahlia plants, roses, etc. These plants we can normally observe the insect pollination. Okay, rather than along with the self pollination, they also, like these plants will basically show insect pollination. Okay, next move on to the next option, bird pollination. Bird pollination means the pollination which takes place with the help of birds. It is also known as ornithophily. Okay, so what what the birds will do, how they pollinate the flowers means they'll visit the flowers to drink the nectar. The birds will fall on the plant and they'll visit the flowers, means they'll touch the flowers with their mouth and collect the nectar from the flower. So in that process, when they are taking the nectar from the flowers, what will happen was the pollen which is on the flowers is attached to their feet or body of the bird. Okay, like that the when this bird will move on to the next flower or next plant, what will happen, the pollen is also carried with the bird. Like that the pollination will happen. Okay, so what were the common plants which will show bird pollination, means which were pollinated by the birds, are honey creepers and hibiscus. Hibiscus is also pollinated with the help of birds. Okay, and next one we'll move on to the next pollination, that is bat pollination. Also normally we think the bats are not good, but they are very helpful for us in pollinating. Normally the bat pollination is also known as chirapterophily. Okay, this is also known as chirapterophily. Okay, so these bats will pollinate the flowers. Normally, if we see, the bats are very useful to us. Why? Because normally they'll pollinate the plants which are very useful in food, medicine, and etc. What they'll do, these bats, they'll carry the pollen from one flower to the another. Why? Because normally the bats will be on the trees itself. So in the tree only, they'll carry the pollen from one flower to another. And what is the main important like thing of this bad pollination is they'll help the plants to resist disease and pests. Why? Because they'll help the plants. Along with this, they'll also help the plants to resist. Okay, examples in which the bad pollination takes place is cactus, guava, mangoes, and eucalyptus. Okay, we'll go on, no, move on to the next option. Wind pollination. Wind pollination is also known as anemophily. And this anemophily, what is the process of wind pollination means, you can see that when the wind will flow, the pollen will be carried from one flower to the another or one plant to the another. Okay, so to flow through with the wind, normally the pollen should be very lightweight. That's why the plants which will be pollinated through the wind will have light pollen grain. They'll have more amount of pollen, but which is very light and dry, so that the pollen can easily carry through the wind and through the long distances. Okay, so another point of this wind pollination is the female parts of the flower, means the plants in which the wind pollination will takes place, the flowers will have the female parts which are very adapted to catch the pollen, means they are widely open so that they catch the pollen through the wind. So this is the special character of the wind pollination. So what are the examples of wind pollination? Are grasses, oaks, barley, corn, rice. So these are the common examples of the plants in which the wind pollination will take place. So after knowing all these, we can say that the large, colorful, fragrant, high nectar flowers normally show insect pollination. Why? Because the insects wanted the large flowers, then only they can be attracted, right? So here the right option is insect pollination. Okay. Hmm. Okay, students. Thank you. We'll carry on to the next video.